Hi friends, I'm Bethany Moore and I'm a student at Harding School of Theology. I'm working on my Master's of Divinity and I'm trying to love every minute of it. You ever noticed how it's been getting really dark out? I get up in the morning, go to work, dark out. I come back from work, dark out. And the only thing that's sort of comforting is that I come back to my Christmas tree, which is all lit up, but even that can't help keep me from wanting to get right into bed at 7 p.m. and just go straight to sleep. And I grew up in New York, and my mom, my little sister, and I all suffer from seasonal affective disorder. Seasonal affective disorder is where during the dark winter months you have acute depression and lethargy, and really the only cure for it is light. So we have this big box light that we use that kind of mimics the sun. So we set it out on the dining room table, and for a couple hours a day, we sit in front of it and try to trick our dumb little brains into thinking there's enough light to make us happy. Light is incredibly essential, and we all long for it during these dark months. So you may be familiar with the Gospel of John. So there are 4 Gospels, and 3 of them, called the Synoptics, are quite similar: Matthew, Mark, and Luke. And there's John, and John is famous for doing his own thing. John focuses on these 7 miracles, these 7 I am statements, where the other Gospels follow along with mostly the same stories and parables. So 2 of our Gospels give us birth narratives, and those are the ones you're familiar with the angels singing and Jesus in the barn or cave or wherever where the animals are, and Mary giving birth, and the Magi coming and giving gifts. And then we have the book of Mark, which starts by telling us about John the Baptist and then moving into the dawn of Jesus' ministry. But John does his own thing. He starts with an image, and that image is one of life and light. So let me read that to you now. Beginning in verse 1 of John 1, "In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. He was in the beginning with God. All things came into being through him, and without him not one thing came into being. What has come into being in him was life, and the life was the light of all people. The light shines in the darkness, and the darkness has not overcome it. There was a man sent from God, his name was John. He came as a witness to testify to the light, so that all might believe through him. He himself was not the light, but he came to testify to the light. The true light, which enlightens everyone, was coming into the world. He was in the world, and the world came into being through him, yet the world did not know him. He came to what was his own, and his own people did not accept him. But to all who received him, who believed in his name, he gave the power to become children of God, who are born not of blood or of will of flesh or will of man, but of God. And the Word became flesh and lived among us, and we have seen his glory, the glory as of a Father's only Son, full of grace and truth. John testified to him and cried out, 'This was he of whom I said, he who comes after me ranks ahead of me, because he was before me.' From his fullness we have all received grace upon grace. For the law was given through Moses, grace and truth came through Jesus Christ. No one has ever seen God. It is God, the only Son, who is close to the Father's heart, who has made him known." Jesus is a life as a light to all people. He shone in the darkness, and the darkness did not overcome him. He is the true light who enlightens the whole world. So the season preceding Christmas is called by the Christian calendar Advent, and it's a time of preparation and anticipation for the coming Christ child. It's a time filled with Christmas lights and mall displays and gold foil wrappings and fire in your fireplace or bonfire. It's a time when it's so dark outside that we all put up light displays trying desperately to fight back the night. We long for true light. And so in this season, this Advent season where we're preparing our hearts for Christ, we're anticipating Christ, we're seeing all this light around us, we're longing for this true light, I want to encourage you to do 2 things. The first is preparation. I want to encourage you to ask yourself, is Jesus welcome in my heart? Have I prepared just a little corner or the whole thing? Are there cobwebs that I need to knock down, or do I need to sweep it out? Are there clean sheets in the bed? Is there dinner in the oven? Am I ready for Christ to come? Is he given all of me? Is he ruler of my heart? This is a great annual question to ask as Advent comes. The other is to join in the anticipation. This year, Christmas is going to be hard. It's different. It's weird. It's been a weird year. That doesn't mean it's not worth celebrating. So I want to challenge you to see Christmas lights when you're driving down the street and think of the coming light of Christ. Maybe tonight, after you take a shower and get ready for bed, you go and sit in front of your Christmas tree and turn off every other light in the room. So you can just marvel at those lights and think of the true light that's coming. The light that's come, that cannot be overcome. The light that came and changed everything. Happy Advent.